Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to another Q&A edition. Thanks for joining, thanks for watching. Link to all of my places of interest in the description. And that's it. Thanks for watching everybody. See you next time. Yeah, welcome to the Q&A, the weekly Q&A. No one's here yet, so... I should change my bottle. So, I think I have a topic today. I may have a topic. I stopped planning topics some time ago, about 2-3 months ago, and it started being kind of random. Probably like 5 or 6 months ago, and the Q&A started being more random. But today, there's something I want to talk about. There's something that I want to complain. So I hope you guys are having a great weekend, a great Sunday. Some of you may be playing Star Ocean 2. I am, and I know I'm gonna get a shit ton of questions about that. Some of you may be preparing for Black Friday and the good weekend in Mexico. I don't know if the good weekend is celebrated in Latin America and other countries, but it is in Mexico, and it is a big fucking thing. So those 2 dates together in this month, man, hopefully I can go nuts buying more video games for my collection. I'm almost to 100 PS4 games. I have 96, I think. 95 or 96, so maybe 4 or 5 more and I'll be able to do a video. Over 100 games, I've been wanting to do that video for a long time. And yeah, hopefully I can fulfill that dream. A video this year, before the year ends. If not, then we'll see. No problem. And what else? Hope you guys get some good deals, this month. But we're still ways ahead, right? I mean, we're still a couple of weeks before the Black Friday hits and the good weekend. We'll see what happens. On to your goddamn questions. Let's begin. Have you watched the last episode of Attack on Titan? No. It's out? I didn't know that. It's probably gonna be only on Crunchyroll and I have to pay, and I don't want to do that. Crunchyroll, yeah, it may have a lot of really good anime series and a lot of exclusives, but the interface is fucked up. It's full of errors. You're watching and you get an ad like 2 or 3 times throughout the video, and it's the same ad, the same 1 minute long ad or 1 minute and a half ad. And if you try to skip it or try to fast forward it, it fucks out. You gotta it stays on buffering, it starts buffering, you gotta exit. And that's pretty annoying, Crunchyroll. It's like they are using this really nasty and dirty way to make you pay. Well, I'm not gonna pay. I am not gonna pay, Crunchyroll. So no, I haven't watched the latest episode of Attack on Titan. But I'm a big fan, so I know I'm gonna miss it out. I'm fine, Khalid, thanks for asking. Any tips for starting small-time YouTubers? I do not recommend starting a YouTube channel anymore nowadays. Go to Twitch. Twitch is your best option. I don't know, maybe TikTok or Instagram. I don't know anything about those websites. All I know is that you do short videos and that's it. But I do not recommend being a YouTuber nowadays. It's very political, very unfair. Unless you want to be politically correct and behave and be positive and all colors and rainbows and shit, And even that, you're still gonna get fucked. Thanks, Inane Dreams. Did you ever play the Crisis Core remake? Nope, I played the original on the PSP, not the remake. You have been coming to a reckoning with your nostalgia. You must be younger than me. If you are nostalgic about Crisis Core, which came out in 2008 or 9, you must be pretty young. Crisis Core is a good game. It's a good action RPG with great music. The music is the best thing about that game. But I always thought that the story was kind of like it's just fan service, you know, for Final Fantasy VII fans, and for those who want to know exactly in detail what happened before it, and with Zack as the main character. I always thought Zack was like a meh character. Cloud was more interesting to me, and I didn't. What I'm trying to say is that I am a Final Fantasy VII fanboy. Okay, I am, and you guys know that, but I didn't need a prequel with Zack as the main character, right? And the other characters like Sephiroth is a great antagonist, but I never really wanted to see him as a party member. I mean, he's kind of an asshole. And then there's Genesis, who I can't stand. I hate that fucking character. And that game just has a Tetsuya Nomura written all over its face. To me, that's a Tetsuya Nomura game, you know. I don't like that guy, his style and shit, so no, I was never really interested in that game. I played it for 2 hours one day, and I was like, you know, it's just not for me. Good combat, though I didn't like the roulette thing that appears up there, you know, that's kind of like random. I was like, what's the point of that? I didn't like that mechanic. But the action was cool, was solid, just wasn't good enough for me to finish it, to stay interested, and much less to buy the remake or the remaster. It's one of those. The Crisis Core remaster remake was kind of like, it's one of those where like Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, Nier Replicant, like you don't know if it's a remake or a remaster or something in the middle. I think it's something in between. They remade certain things and then they remastered others. It's a hybrid. Do you plan on picking up Mario Wonder? No, I haven't picked up a Mario game in like... I had the new Super Mario Bros. Game on the Wii with a red case, and I sold it because it was part of my business back then when I was a reseller, and I should have kept it, and I kind of regret it because that's a wonderful game. I really liked it, but that was the last time that I got a Mario game on my hands. I like Mario, and I'd love to get into some more Mario games in the future, but the price just never go down, never seem to come down. Never seem to go down. And I don't know. It's like I always underestimate Mario games. Like I keep saying to myself, oh, I'll get it later. It's never gonna go up in price. And they really do, but they also never go down in price, right? So I'm that guy with Mario games, pretty undecisive. And Mario Wonder, I don't know. I'm not gonna get it, you know. I'm just gonna wait till it's like $30. Which means never. And we'll see. Will you play Little Goody Two Shoes? I don't know anything about that game. I think someone brought it up last stream. Somebody asked about it, and I don't know anything about it. It's an upcoming game, right? Some kind of upcoming RPG. Like, okay, now I gotta know. In every Q&A, you guys always bring up one game that I gotta check out on Google. Little Goody Two Shoes. Okay, so what's this? It's an adventure game by Astral Shift Pro and published by Square Enix. You play as Little Goody Two Shoes, a phantasmagorical horror narrative adventure where all of your decisions matter. Let me check out some images. So is this some kind of indie game just published by Square Enix, or is it just like, oh... It looks to be some kind of visual novel-ish, but here's a screenshot of the combat. It's like an action RPG. Cute and creepy. You play as Elise, a girl that looks like Alice in Wonderland, but with a red dress. Okay, it looks interesting, but not that interesting. Let's leave it at that, so maybe. Erick looking to kick. It's a Twitch competitor and pays more than Twitch. And how many people are gonna go over there to watch me? For starters, there's barely anyone watching me on Twitch. I'm streaming like 5 days a week. I streamed yesterday and the day before and the day before. Fuck, I've been streaming almost all week on Twitch. And there's always like 5 people there watching the stream. A maximum of 10, and that's it. So, and that's Twitch. And I've been promoting my Twitch channel every Sunday on my Q&As, and there's a link on every single one of my videos. No one gives a shit, so I don't think anybody's gonna give a shit about me being on Kick or Rumble or those other websites. But thanks for the suggestion, man. Eric, what's your second favorite genre of video games? That will be fighting games. Though environmental puzzles in 2D platformings, you know. That's also becoming one of my favorites too. Last night, speaking about Twitch, I streamed a game called Tandem. I forget the subtitle. Tandem. And it's an environmental puzzle that's been out for like 2 years. And it plays between 2D. You control two characters and you gotta switch constantly between them. And one character is the 2D part and the other one is the 3D part. And they complement each other to help each other to make progress, right? It's really good and it's pretty Halloween-esque, Tim Burton-like, you know, and I really liked it. I only played the demo, but I'm planning on getting it. But it was $15, digital only, and I was like, nah. $10 or GTFO. Remakester? Yeah, Crisis Core is pretty much that, a remakester. Like, you can't... We don't know if it's a remake or a remaster or both, or... Like I said, you know, they remade some things and they remastered some things. But let's be honest, I don't know much about Crisis Core, but Nier Replicant and Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, most of it was remastered. There are very few things on those games that were remade from scratch. But let's say like 80% of the game was just remastered, right? So they aren't exactly remakes. They're more remasters than anything. But who am I to know, right? Who am I to say that? What the fuck do I know? Final Fantasy VII. Between Final Fantasy VI and Final Fantasy VII, which one do you think was better in terms of story? I think Final Fantasy VI. Final Fantasy VII's story was revolutionary and it was kind of psychological and a little bit darker than usual and more mature. And I like it because of that. I praise it because of that. But I think the Final Fantasy VI story is a little bit more engaging because you get to see from different points of view. Even though some of the characters, if not most of them, start becoming kind of irrelevant the more you advance. You know, you get to the end of the game and you're like, oh, okay, so what about this character? What about this other character? You know, we didn't get a lot of development for this and this and this and this and that character, right? So, but the story, let me put it this way, in terms of characters and their development, Final Fantasy VII is the better game. But in terms of storytelling, I think it was more interesting in Final Fantasy VI. It was also more mature too. Mature and adult. Like, you know, and more original. So they're both up there, you know, it's a pretty good tie. It's hard to decide which one is truly the best in terms of story. Which JRPG... Wow, I missed a lot of questions, sorry guys. Which JRPG do you think has the best story? Xenogears. Have you beat Kingdoms of Amalur? Yes, on the original PlayStation 3, and I loved it. What about Super Mario RPG Remastered? No, that's a full remake. They did the game from scratch. They remade everything. That's a remake. Did you play Eternights? No. It looks okay, you know, I'm interested. I'm probably gonna get the game when it's like $10 or $20 max, you know, and that's it. But I don't have a lot of interest on it. Eric, what game on the PS5 exclusive you plan to play next? Exclusive? Holy shit, I don't know, man. I can't think of a single exclusive game on the PS5 that I want to play next. All of the ones that I want to play next are on other consoles, or they're on PS5 too, but they're available on other consoles. They aren't exclusive, so I don't know, man. Have you tried Honkai Star Rail? No, I keep getting emails every now and then, like at least once a month, from the companies trying to make me promote their game, and I'm just not for me, man. I'm not really into MMORPGs or free-to-play games. That's a free-to-play game, and I know it's really good. I've heard really good things about it, but I'm not interested in free-to-play games. What's your opinion about the PlayStation Portal console? Oh, is that like the upcoming portable system? I don't know much about it. In fact, I barely know anything about it. All I know is that there were some rumors that PlayStation is working on a new portable system. So I don't have an opinion yet. Have you heard of Dead End Zion and Dead End Request 3 announcement? Yeah, someone brought it up last week. And I also know about the Dot Hack game that CyberConnect 2 has been working on this year. People are saying that we will probably get this new Dot Hack game on March next year. So, wow, I hope it's true, and I'm very excited because I'm a big Dot Hack fan. However, the Dead End Zion and Dead End Request 3, hopefully I'm just as excited. We discussed this in the last Q&A, but yeah, I mean, I became a fan of Dead End Request 1 and 2 this year, even though I've known the games for like 3 years and so. I got Dead End Request 2 about 3 years ago as a gift, and I only played it for like 2 hours and never went back to it until this year, when I realized it was kind of necessary to play it to understand the second one. Right? It isn't indispensable, but you kind of, yeah, you need to play the first one to understand the second one fully. And I did that, and I played both games almost in a row, and I fell in love with the series, so now I'm a big fan, so of course I'm very interested. I hope we get that game because it's been 3 years. Dead End Request 3 came out in 2020. We got it in 2022 actually, and we got it Switch port. It's bad Switch port on 2021. But yeah, it's been 3 years since that game, so about fucking time. Idea Factory, compile hard. We need a third game in the series. Thank you very much. I will definitely support that third entry. I just hope it isn't politicized. Idea Factory games are slowly starting to get kind of politicized too, and with forced inclusion and shit, and I'm like, okay, let's hope that doesn't happen. Have you heard of, got lost here. Tandem A Take of Shadows. Something like that. Yeah, I streamed the game on Twitch last night. Link to my Twitch channel in the description, guys. Follow me there. Subscribe if you can. Support me there. Streaming on YouTube is just not great anymore, so I've been streaming on Twitch pretty regularly, and I have beaten a game called Mirror 2, which was a pretty lewd game, but very addictive gameplay mechanics, puzzle game, and I beat it. I did a full playthrough, and I'll be doing more full playthroughs on Twitch in the future, so subscribe to my Twitch channel, everybody. Link in the description. Maybe you should do more just chatting streams on Twitch, talking about games and other topics. I already do that here in the Q&As with you guys, so I don't see the point in doing the same on Twitch. At least not now. Any plans to get an arcade stick controller soon? Nope. Are you gonna do a review on Star Ocean 2 Remake? You bet your ass I will. And that's all I'm gonna say. You guys are gonna have to wait for my review to get my full thoughts. I have a lot to say about it. Eric, do you like black metal? Not really. You know, black metal is a great genre, and I do like some songs from some bands. But the problem with black metal is that I'm one of those guys that think that every song sounds the same. Like, it's just a similar very similar riffs, very similar solos, and the you know? So it gets old after a while for me personally. I like my songs to be a little bit more diverse. Like, one of my favorite metal bands of all time is Fear Factory and The Gathering. Well, The Gathering is a band that's never labeled itself as metal because they cover different genres, and every album has been like a different genre, and I like that. I dig that. I also like Devin Townsend, you know, but I'm not really into black metal. Although I don't know what would you call a band called Woods of Desolation. I think that's more like death metal, but there's so many subgenres nowadays that it's hard to differentiate them, right? But I like Woods of Desolation, and I'm not sure if that can be considered as black metal. But there you go. You're welcome, the Uta Wareru Mono Games person. I don't know how to pronounce your name. The PlayStation Portal is just a tablet. You sync to your PS5 and play the games on it. Seriously? Wow, okay. Nice, PlayStation. I'm very excited. What JRPG will you consider JRPG of the year between Octopath Traveler 2. Sea of Stars is not a Japanese game, man. Sea of Stars is a Canadian RPG, so it doesn't count. Star Ocean: The Second Story and Trails into Reverie. I don't know yet, you're gonna have to wait for my top 10 best JRPGs of 2023, which I'll probably upload in about 2 months. Once I make my decision. Let me finish Star Ocean 2 first, man. And Octopath Traveler 2, I haven't finished it. Are you going to get Super Mario RPG Remake on day one? I'm still thinking about it. I probably am, and if I do, I think I'm gonna stream it. I don't know if on Twitch or YouTube, but I don't know yet. I need to make my decision. I don't know yet. Are you a fan of Menudo? No, man, I hate that shit, man. I think I tried that when I was like 13 years old at a friend's house, and I was like, what? This is horrible. No offense, but I don't like it. What do you think? She'll play Phantasy Star 3 Remaster? What's your question? You're asking me if I think you should play Phantasy Star 3 Remaster? You mean the Game Boy Advance? Or the fan-translated versions on the PlayStation 2? What exactly do you mean by politicized? When I say politicized is that there's something that someone forced the writers to include some kind of political message. Like in this case, it's a lot of liberal stuff. It used to be kind of conservative, right? We used to get some political message on the conservative or right-wing party, even in video games, in movies and shit. And now it's the other way around. We're getting a lot of liberal crap, and it's forced, right? It's fake. It's like hypocritical. It feels like it's just there just for the sake of sending a political message to the world. And I don't like that, I like the purity of someone making the game or their story the way they want to, without a fucking executive saying, oh, you gotta include this character, or you gotta have this type of scene, or your characters need to do this or go through this situation. And you watch it and you're like, I mean, this feels fake as fuck. Like, this character or this scene, it's like, man, I'm not stupid. This is a political message, right? That's what I mean by politicized, and I fucking hate that. What will your thoughts be on a JRPG with a metric fuckton of 80s and 90s heavy metal iconography? What kind of question is that? What? Let me read that again. What? What will your thoughts be on a JRPG with a metric fuckton? What the fuck is a metric fuckton? Of 80s and 90s heavy metal iconography, like sort of Final Fantasy by way of bad? I have no idea what you're asking, man. You mean a JRPG with heavy metal music? What are you trying to ask? Do you wear other colored t-shirts? No, my man, black forever. I used to be a goth in my younger days. That's the one thing that stuck with me. The black, wearing the black color clothes. I don't think I'm goth anymore. I'm just Erick. I'm myself. I got rid of all of those labels, not that they're bad labels. I liked when people noticed that I was a goth and shit like that. But nowadays, I'm just Erick. I outgrew that. But out of respect for my philosophy, my ideals, my way of dressing, my own style from back then, I still dress in black. So no, I don't wear any other color clothes. Say no to wokeness. Yeah, exactly. That's politicized. Everything that's like forced inclusion, that's a political message. That's like, hey, you gotta include the black character here, okay, or the Mexican character, or hell, even the white character. Well, wait, no, that doesn't make any sense, does it? Well, maybe it did back in the day. When they're like, oh, there's a movie about a bunch of black guys. Hey, along came the executive. You gotta include a white character in there. Like, what? No, I don't want to. I want my movie to be about black guys. Go fuck yourself, right? And nowadays it's the exact opposite, right? It's like they're forcing all of these characters, but not only characters, these situations, these scenes, this stuff that you see on movies, especially on movies, not so much in video games, only on AAA games. But yeah, it's like, man, come on, let me do my game however I want. But nowadays it's like if you don't include these characters or these situations, you're a racist, you're a homophobe, you're a sexist, you're whatever, you're a Nazi, when they are the fucking Nazis nowadays. And it's horrible, right? And it only creates this huge hatred between people, this strong division between people and between gamers, speaking about video games. And it's sad. It's sad that they're forcing these political messages on their games, and they only divide people. I guess it's a good idea for them because, you know, their games get more controversial and more money, I guess, more publicity, I don't know. But it's sad, man. I mean, come on. We don't need that anymore. And so it's a lot of woke. This woke stuff is very liberal, very left-wing. But trust me when I say this, 20 years ago, I was complaining about the same thing about the right-wing parties. You know, sending all of those messages, like the Christian messages or the Catholic messages. It was like, man, don't force your religion on me, please, please. And nothing's changed. It just went from one side to the other. Previously it was the right wing, now it's the left wing. So it's just ridiculous, right? And I hate that. What's your opinion about emo people? I have no opinion. I mean, if you like that kind of shit, I mean, good for you, right? I don't care when people are with different labels, you know, like I was saying I was a goth, you know, or if you're a rapper or a hipster or a metalhead or whatever, a normie or a gamer or whatever you are, that's cool. I don't have a problem with that. You can be whatever you want. Just don't force that on people. That's what I hate. Like, oh my god, I'm a metalhead and every single human being on the planet should be a metalhead, otherwise go fuck yourself and I'm gonna treat you like shit. No, man. If you don't want to hang out with non-metalheads, just don't hang out with them. But I'm setting a poor example because metalheads are pretty open-minded people, and it's rare to see someone, a metalhead, making somebody else feel inferior. It's usually normal people who listen to the crappiest music and get on with the trends. Normal people are always the ones that are kind of forcing everything on everybody else. Like, oh, you listen to rock music, you're a loser. You know, that kind of people. So, whatever, man. And the same goes for races and genders and colors. I mean, you want to be gay, you're black, you know, good for you, man, good. I don't give a shit. You're still a human being to me. And I will treat you the same as I treat everybody else, as long as you don't force your ideals on me or your politics on me. Enough said. Stay the same, Japan, don't be forced into what. Too late. AAA games from Japan are already politicized. Anyway, that's what ruined Disney. Ooh, yeah. That's the best example right there. Disney is like, holy shit. Oh, man. What a heated conversation. Gonna have to get naked here. Half naked. I've been both, you know. I don't think I ever told my story because, I don't know, I feel like it's gonna take me a long time to explain. But yeah, to cut things short, I've been on both sides of the spectrum, you know. When I was younger, when I was like, I don't know, 16, 17, I was pretty liberal. And then on my 20s, I was pretty conservative, you know. And then eventually I realized being both, being one or the other sucks bananas. Music, man. Xenoblade Chronicles. That's I don't know if you guys missed, you probably did, the top 50 dungeon themes in JRPGs that I just did a couple of days ago. Check it out, it's on my channel and it's live, it's public. It's gonna be public forever. Check it out in case you missed it. Great music, we had a great time during the stream. Yeah, I don't care about AAA games, I'm done. I'm like, I don't give a shit about them. The closest I can get to that is Persona nowadays, and maybe Nier. And well, at least Nier, we know it comes from Yoko Taro himself. I mean, nobody... Wait, no, I'm about to spoil something really big about the original Nier. So, I mean, you guys know what I mean, right? This was a 2010 game. What happens in the original Nier with a specific character, that's not a political message. That's just Yoko Taro being, I want my character to be like this, to disturb people, to make a plot twist, right? And that was great. But nowadays, people don't do that for the sake of a plot twist or for the sake of a story. It's for the sake of normalizing shit. What pisses me off the most is the kids nowadays being targets. That I can't stand, man. Saying that shit, that political shit to a 6-year-old or a 7-year-old in school, that's wow. I'm so fucking happy I don't have any kids. And if you guys have any kids, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for what you're going through. That's gotta be fucking horrible. Your 7-year-old kid being lectured about gender. I mean, wow. Wow. I don't know what you're trying to say, Vent, but I don't want to sound like a feminist. But I do believe, not but for the sake of feminism, but I do believe we need more JRPG female protagonists. I don't want to explain why. No, come on. I mean, even if the girls aren't sexualized, you know, I mean, I like it. You know, I like playing with girls, you know, and moving around, fighting them. I don't know. It's cool. I like it. Well, yeah, who am I kidding? You know, you know the reason why I want more girls. What will be your absolute favorite heavy metal bands? I'm not that big into heavy metal, but if you're allowing me to diverge into other subgenres, oh man, we can go on forever. But like pure heavy metal, like Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, I'm not really into bands like those. But I like a lot of industrial metal. I love Pitch Shifter. Fear Factory is one of my favorite bands. And there's like gothic metal, and there's a lot of them, right? But if I mean, being honest, there's some... I don't think I can say... I don't think I could ever make a top 10 favorite heavy metal bands, death metal bands, doom metal bands. Maybe industrial metal bands. Yes, I could do that, you know, because I'm more into industrial metal, industrial rock. But I don't know. My tastes are very diverse. My 10 favorite bands are from like different genres. I mean, 9 Inch Nails. What the hell is that? Like experimental metal? Industrial metal? And then there's The Cure. The Cure is a band that's like, it's done everything. Pop, rock, pop rock, gothic, instrumental. What else? New age. And then there's Deftones, which started as a new metal band. In fact, Deftones is one of the first new metal bands, and they hated that term, and that's why over the first years, you know, they kind of shaped their music to become like alternative metal, something like that. Progressive metal, between progressive metal and still new metal. That's what Deftones became after, with White Pony after that, their third album. And then there's Killing Joke, which was initially a post-punk band, and then a post-rock, and then kind of industrial too. And nowadays it's pretty much an industrial rock band. It's been that way for the last 20 years or more, 30 years. And there's Gary Newman, which was, I mean, you see where I'm going, right? I mean, all of my favorite bands are like pretty experimental. I don't know why I feel attracted to that. Because there's some kind of variety in their music style that I dig. I don't want my music bands to play the same music all over and over and over and over and over again on every single album. So, but I still like bands like that, you know. They're just not among my favorites. The Gathering, Fear Factory is the one band in my top 10 favorite bands that can maybe categorized as repetitive, right? That all of their albums are the same genre and the same style, but I still love it. Will you ever do videos on fan-translated JRPGs? I've done a couple of those already. Check them out. Go to my YouTube channel right now and just type fan-translated JRPGs Erick Landon and you'll see them. I've done, I think, 3 of them if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I've done tops on those. Did you try Baldur's Gate 3? No, and I'm not interested because it looks politicized as fuck. Plus, it's a Western RPG. When have you ever seen me taking interest on a Western RPG? It's pretty rare. I've been interested in Dragon Age, a new Dragon Age game, but I know for a fact it's gonna be political and no thanks. What would you consider the best SNES JRPG of all time? Wow, that's a competition between Final Fantasy VI and Super Mario RPG. Everybody else is gonna say Chrono Trigger, but to me, Chrono Trigger is always gonna be the 3rd place. The real contest for me personally is Final Fantasy VI and Super Mario RPG, and I don't think I'll ever be able to decide. Do you think the entire world is already in an economic recession? I don't know about the entire world, but I know for a fact a lot of countries are, like the US. Mexico, well, it's always been in some kind of economic recession. For the past 30 years or so. Now that we're talking about music, have you ever played a JRPG with great gameplay but bad music? I mean, like Final Fantasy X too? Nah. Bad example, I don't like the gameplay. A lot of people praise the battle system and shit, and I'm like, there's nothing special about this, so no. I can't think of a single one. I mean, there's gotta be one. I know for a fact I played a lot of JRPGs. Not necessarily with bad music, but the soundtrack is like, it's okay, it's there, it helps I guess, but it's not phenomenal, at least not in my opinion. Scarlet Nexus is a great example. Scarlet Nexus, I think the gameplay is great, the combat is great, the character story, whatever, the graphics, but the music was kind of like pretty forgettable. There's only like 1 or 2 themes that stand out a little bit, but the rest is like, if I were to listen right now, to the entire soundtrack of Scarlet Nexus, I wouldn't recognize it. I was like, oh, what is this? What is the... Yeah. It's good music, you know. I'm pretty sure there are people out there that are like, man, that's a great soundtrack. To each their own, right? I thought it was pretty forgettable. In fact, I think the soundtrack in Cry Machina, which is pretty similar, it's better, it's more memorable. But maybe that's because I played it like 2 weeks ago. Give it a year and maybe I'll forget about the rest of the soundtrack, but I do remember some memorable themes in Cry Machina. In Scarlet Nexus, I remember the bass theme. You know, I like that theme, but that's about it. The rest of the soundtrack's kind of like... Another one is 13 Sentinels. I always felt the soundtrack was like kind of there. It doesn't really stand out. But then again, most Vanillaware games are the same. You know, there's only like 1 or 2 songs that really stand out, and the rest of the soundtrack is like, oh. If I listen to Dragon's Crown, the soundtrack right now, I know for a fact I'm gonna recognize the town theme, for a fact, or the tavern theme, because you listen to them so often that they get into your brain. You memorize them, right? With the rest of the soundtrack, if you put right now to me, blindfolded, and hey, Eric, try to guess where this song is from, and you put one of the dungeon themes or area themes from Dragon's Crown, I'm not gonna guess it. And I've played Dragon's Crown like 3 times. Odin's Fear is a more memorable soundtrack. I think it's the best Vanillaware soundtrack. There's more than 1-2 songs. There's like 5 or 6 songs that are really memorable, so that's great. That at least is above average. But yeah, 13 Sentinels, Dragon's Crown, Muramasa, same. Grim Grimoire, there's a few songs that are like really good, really catchy, but the rest are like, oh, this is from Grim Grimoire? Oh, okay. And that's a game I've been like 4 times, right? So yeah. But yeah, I kind of digressed. To answer your question, I can't think of a single game that is like great gameplay but bad music. Bad, like the music is terrible. No, I was gonna say Monarch, but the gameplay is fucking broken, man. And Monarch, half of the soundtrack is great. It's just the boss battle themes are really bad. I can't think of one. What do you think of Drakengard's soundtrack? It's pretty Western RPG-ish, but that's Yoko Taro for you. I don't know who made the music. Was it Keiichi Okabe? I don't think so, right? Who made the music of the original Drakengard? I don't remember, but the point is that it doesn't stand out. I don't think it's bad. I think it's good, you know, but I don't remember a single theme from the original Drakengard. Plus, you gotta understand, I never beat that game, and I never made it any far. I think I played for like 5 hours and rage quit, and I was like, fuck this game, you know. I don't think it's a great game. If you were chosen, I've gotten that question before. If you were chosen as Square Enix CEO, what steps will you take in order to fix the company? Who will you fire first? Yoshi P or Tetsuya Nomura? Both at the same time. Why does one need to be first? I will call them both. Hey, Yoshi P and Tetsuya, come here. You're fucking fired, get the fuck out of my office. Will you bring Sakaguchi back to make Final Fantasy XVII? I don't know, because Sakaguchi is he's one of my favorite developers, and I had a lot of respect for him, but he's become nothing but a shell of what he originally was. He was a great developer with great ideas, but nowadays he only cares about the money, and he only makes games for phones, and I don't respect that anymore. I will talk to him, probably. I will say, come back, but forget about the mobile market. I'm gonna bring you back to create console RPGs. Your next RPG will be called Final Fantasy XVII, but it's gonna be turn-based. It's gonna have one heck of a story because you're such a great story writer. And it's not gonna be politicized. You politicize my game, get the fuck out of my office with Tetsuya Nomura and the other guy. But, I don't know if I will argue for an exclusive, you know. He will probably say, oh, Final Fantasy XVII needs to be an exclusive on the PlayStation 6. I'll be like, no, I don't think that's good for business. It needs to be on PS5 and PS6, both, at least. And I will fight for a Steam version. I don't give a shit about Steam, but for the sake of a lot of you, I will do that. Xbox can go fuck itself. Switch too. I don't know. What else would I do? I will continue making Dragon Quest turn-based. And there are rumors that Dragon Quest 12 is gonna be a little bit darker. So I will respect that decision. Okay, but no politics, please. No fucking political messages. No forced inclusion, no nothing. Alright? What else would I do? I will keep supporting... One of the great things about Square Enix is that they are supporting remasters and remakes, and they're also supporting a lot of strategy RPGs nowadays, so I will continue that support, and in fact, I will support it even more. I'm not the biggest fan of Final Fantasy Tactics, you know, I'm not really a fan, but I will remake that fucking son of a bitch. I will do that. That will be one of my first orders, you know, start remaking that game, please, or at least remastering that game. Also, I can play and finally get into it. I don't know, I will do a lot of things, but those are the first things that I will do. Lost Odyssey 2, for example, that will be one of my first things to do too. Sakaguchi, get your ass here, asshole. Get the fuck over here and make a Lost Odyssey, please. And call it Final Fantasy XVII. And then I will remaster Xenogears. Or maybe remake it, but as a turn-based RPG, and try to be as respectful and faithful to the original version. And call Tetsuya Takahashi and say, come on, man, I'll pay you whatever you want. Come back here and remake Xenogears. Yeah, I'll never be CEO of Square Enix, I know that. What background music? I added nothing from Baten Kaito, so no. I don't know what this is though. These right now. This is is weird because today I added most of the playlist from today are songs that I actually know, but every now and I gotta add that one song, right? That I don't know where it's from. I don't know where this is from. I think this is Is this from Strange Journey? Yeah, believe it or not. I don't know, but I think it's from Strange Journey. The soundtrack is like that. It's kind of like weird. You listen to any Shin Megami Tensei soundtrack and you know it's a Shin Megami Tensei soundtrack, but you listen to this soundtrack and you're like, is that Shin Megami Tensei? Yes. Anyway. Ah, there you go. I was right. That was Strange Journey. That was Vehement Rage. Vehement be whatever. Well, okay. Oh, nice. I was right. See, that's one soundtrack that stands out for being completely different from any other Mega 10 music. This I have no fucking idea. Sounds familiar though. Yeah, I'll get Persona 5 Tactica once it goes on sale, like in a year. I don't really care for that game. Well, more like I don't care about it. I do care for it, but just not about it. There's a difference. It took me many years to understand the difference. I was like, what's the difference between saying I don't care for or I don't care about? It's different. Saying I don't care for this means that you don't like it. And I don't care about means that you just don't care about that. Like you have no interest. They're different things. They're similar, but different. So I do care for Persona Tactica 5, but I don't care about it right now. That's an English lesson for you guys. Do you recommend Indivisible? No. No. I'm sorry, I just don't. I think it's a good game. I think it's a game that had great ideas, but it's just way too difficult, way too convoluted, hard to understand, hard to get into, and hard to master. I mean, it's just... I don't mean hard in terms of challenging, I mean hard in terms of brutal. I mean, it's just... There's just no way to properly enjoy that game for me. I really wanted to like it, but that difficulty, it ruined it for me. Is there any music you like to hear repeatedly, like song Y in Crisis FF7? That would be the one for you? Yeah, often I add a few. I mean, there's anything from Shin Megami Tensei Apocalypse. I love some themes. Anything from the Chrono Cross soundtrack, some Phantasy Star 4 themes, Final Fantasy 6, 7, 8, and 9. There's just a lot. I mean, the E series, the Trail series. Is this from Cry Machina? Yeah, I think so. It's a good song. See, the Cry Machina soundtrack kind of stands out a bit more than the Scarlet Nexus soundtrack. Yeah. The little girls singing, that's Cry Machina. It's like this character, Enoa, was kind of like the idol character in the game. And she sings, and actually the voice actress in Japanese, the Japanese voice actress, she sings some of the songs. So I could be wrong though, but I think that's Enoa singing right now. Cry Machina is a game that, just like Indivisible, I really wanted to like. But unlike Indivisible, I actually liked it. I finished the game and I beat it, and I was like, okay, it's over, thanks, that's it. No need to. And it's a weird game because it's a game that I really wanted to finish on normal mode, but near the end of the game I had to stick with casual mode because it's just really ridiculous, you know, while enemies one-shotting you, one-shot killing you, and then the final boss was a joke. The final boss was a joke. And I was like, okay, I beat the game and I was like, maybe I should restart the battle on normal mode, but I know for a fact it's gonna be like really indivisible, like, so I didn't. I don't know, I liked Cry Machina, but I don't think I can recommend it, to be honest. Plus, all the lesbian stuff is all in your face, like it's about that, like they tell you, this is a game about this, and there's nothing but that in the story. Okay. At least it doesn't have a political message. That was like, hey, the developers were like, this is my game, my Yuri game, fuck you. Okay, I respect that, you know. I respect that, but it's very focused on that. Fair warning. Yeah, it's a game that had a lot of potential. But it was just ruined by the... I don't even know what to call it, difficulty? No, I mean... The combat. The combat is the best and the worst thing about the game. If that makes any sense. What will be your honorable mentions for the dungeon themes that you didn't make? Oh, wow, I left out a lot of Atlus and Falcom themes, and I said so in the video, in the chat. Had to leave out amazing themes like Airport from Digital Devil Saga 2. Had to leave out some themes from Ys 6 and 8. You know, otherwise the list would have been full of them, right? Ys Origin also has a great dungeon themes, area themes that I didn't include. But I included the first one from Ys Origin because, while not the best, it's the most memorable. I mean, though that piano, you know, I love it. So yeah, there's just no way I can just mention one or two honorable mentions. There's way too many. Way too many that I leave out. Same with every top 50 that I do on music. Boss battle themes, also some of them had to stay out. Regular battle themes, same. Hey, it's been 3 years since I made a regular battle themes one. That's been my most successful. Yeah, battle themes are usually the most successful ones. Battle themes, boss battle themes. I have one on final boss themes that I want to make next year. Yeah, and then town themes, people like it, people dig that. Overworld themes, dungeon themes, I think is one of the less, with the less appeal to people. I don't think a lot of people or JRPG fans care that much about dungeon themes, but they do, and I made a video 2 days ago. It's there in case you guys missed it. Oh, speaking of one of my favorite JRPG music of all time themes, this is one of them. This is the overworld map theme. The world map theme from Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse. It's just phenomenal. Fucking masterpiece of a soundtrack. Bobby, I made a review of Monochrome Mobius, and I actually included some tips in there to enjoy the game even more. Be sure to check it out. Yeah, I did a review on that game. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I heard Kulex has been confirmed for the Super Mario RPG remake. Did you ever beat him, Eric? Yeah, that's one of the very few super bosses, secret bosses, I've beaten in JRPGs in my entire life. I'm glad it's coming back. Which would you say is the better action RPG between Ys 8 and 9? I get that question a lot for some reason. There's also a video I made about that. It's my Ys 9 review. And I made a comparison against 8. Like which one was the better game. And it's impossible to tell. It's just impossible. I like Ys 9. Personally, I like it more. But Lacrimosa is like... But you're asking in not in terms of story, but in gameplay mechanics, combat, bosses. Where in terms of exploration, I know you didn't ask that, but in terms of exploration, 8 is the better game. But in terms of combat, I think 9 is better because it's more fast-paced, it's more chaotic, it's faster, and I think the controls are overall better. I mean, the combat in 8 is phenomenal already. I didn't think the next game will top it, but it did for me personally. I think I like the combat a little bit more on Ys 9. In terms of gameplay, it's kind of different because the gameplay revolves around exploration in Ys 8. Whereas in Ys 9, there's not a lot to explore except within the city limits. And it's pretty fun because you can just fly around and jump around and I like that, so I think I like a 9 a little bit more. And in terms of bosses, there's just no way to answer that. But, you know, I think it's easier for me to say to you, get Ys 9. Have you played Mega Man X Command Mission? I did, I never finished it, I rage quit on a boss. I played the PlayStation 2 version. That was many years ago and I never went back to it. Because it was honestly one of those games that when I started playing it, I realized it wasn't that great. It was good, it was decent, and I was enjoying it. But I was like, you know, it has some problems. It has some difficulty spikes and some balancing issues. So I'm just gonna play this game and see how far I can get. And the moment I rage quit, and that's it. The moment I hit, you know, like a nasty spike, I'm gonna quit. I'm not even gonna bother. And that's exactly what happened. I do recommend Mega Man X Command Mission. Just don't expect the game to be wow. No. You're truly enjoying Nayuta. That's a great game. It gets better the more you advance. It's one of those games that you start in the first hours, it's like, it's okay. The more you play it, the more you realize its awesomeness. What JRPG has the best party members? Suikoden. That's cheating, right? Radiata Stories. Fire Emblem, any Fire Emblem game, because you have a shit ton of party members to choose from. No, honestly, I don't know. If you're judging, is your question more related to JRPG, the party members as units, how good they are in battle, or how great and memorable they are in terms of personality and development? They're different things. What are your thoughts on I Am Setsuna? I think that's one heavily, criminally, massively underrated JRPG. It's not a masterpiece, but it just got mixed reviews, and I was like, man, this is a wonderful game. I think I Am Setsuna was overhyped a bit, because it was one of the first games back in 2017 in 2016. One of the first games that was an indie, but that was like a love letter to the classics. Like inspired by the classics, the 16-bit, 32-bit era. And it was advertised like that. So Square Enix, when they advertised that game, they made a big deal out of it. And it was a launch title, its Switch port was a launch title on the Switch. So it was a big deal. So I guess people were expecting way too much out of it. Kind of like Blue Dragon. Remember Blue Dragon on the 360? Same. They hyped the game so much that obviously it didn't meet everyone's expectations. They thought it was gonna be the next masterpiece, you know, and it just wasn't. But I feel like a lot of reviewers and gamers didn't appreciate the game for what it truly was, for what it was trying to do. And it's a very conceptual game. What would it taking place in snow fields and shit? I mean, in a winter setting, you know. So that was kind of conceptual, and I don't think people appreciated that. So they wanted the game to be the next Chrono Trigger. I mean, come on. Those are really high expectations, and it just wasn't, you know. But and that's the reason why you got a lot of undeserved hate and rejection from gamers. And I don't think that's fair, you know. I got to play the game after that, after the hype, and I got to appreciate the game for what it is, and it's a wonderful game. Maybe not one of those, how do you guys call them, like 10 out of 10 games? Maybe not, maybe 8, maybe 9 out of 10, I don't know. Yeah, but yeah, I think it's a really good game. Very underrated. Zanki Zero is the most underrated? Maybe, but that game has a problem. Okay, the game's biggest problem is that it's very obscure. It got barely any advertisement. There was a controversy because of its censorship, and that helped the game to be advertised a little bit more, but still I don't think a lot of people played it or reviewed it. Either way, I think it's a really good game. Dungeon crawlers in first person aren't for me, so I haven't finished it, but I'm pretty far into it. Maybe one day. But my point is that Zanki Zero is a game that it just didn't get a lot of ratings. So it's kind of weird to call it underrated. But in terms of underrated as in it didn't get the ratings it deserved, I kind of agree. I think it's a bit underrated. But to me it's more of a hidden gem than anything. I think what you're trying to ask is, do I like dating systems in JRPGs, or do I hate them? I don't hate them. I like them. I actually like them. I may not be the biggest fan in some of them, but I like some of them, you know. I don't love dating sims, and I don't hate them. Let's just say that I'm okay with them, that I like them, and that's it. Some of the best dating sims in JRPGs are from the Persona series, obviously. But there's also the Trails series, especially the Cold Steel and the Reverie games. The one in Reverie, I really liked it. You know, you get to hang out with the girls at the beach in their bikinis. So what's not there to like, right? But yeah, usually I don't really care that much for them. I'm like, if the game has a dating sim, it's okay. It's not like, oh my god, it has a dating sim, fuck this game. No, I welcome it. I like it. As long as they don't really force that much on you. You know, it's like I know some games where it's overly present, you know, and you kind of do get tired of it, but it's okay. I like them. I don't think it's one of my favorite things about modern JRPGs, no, but it's definitely not a pet peeve either. When are you gonna stream playing again? What? Playing what? Anyway, did you ever get Platinum any JRPG? I Platinum some games when Platinum didn't exist. I don't think it makes sense, but I feel like I 100%ed games like Valkyrie Profile 2 and Chrono Cross, but trophies and Platinum didn't exist back then, so... If you're asking about, like, Platinum any modern JRPG, you know, from the PS3 era and onward, I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I really don't like chibi art style. What are your thoughts on it? Well, it works for some games. I don't mind it. You know, the first game that came into mind was all those. Well, you mean like modern chibi art style, you know, right? Because if we're talking about chibi art style, almost every 16-bit JRPG had it. Well, if we're talking about like PS2 era and above, and after that, you know, when they didn't have to make their characters look chibi anymore and they still did, I don't really care. I can't think of a game that I trashed in the past because of its chibi art style. But to be honest, I'm not the biggest fan either. But yeah, I don't really mind it, you know. I play some modern games, or not so modern games, that are like with chibi art style, and I love them. Lord of Magna Made in Heaven on the 3DS was one of them. I was like, man, this is a wonderful game. I didn't really care about the chibi art style. So yeah, I don't have a preference. I don't reject it, but it's more like I don't really love it passionately. No, but I like it sometimes. Depends on the game. Fire Emblem Three Houses versus Awakening. Okay. I think I'm gonna choose Three Houses. It just has better gameplay. It has a much better story and characters. And better narrative. But there's also more fan service in Three Houses. And you got a dating simulation. Well, you also kind of did in Awakening. But Awakening, the gameplay is a little bit more traditional than Three Houses. Three Houses felt like it was its own game. So the one thing where Awakening is better than Three Houses, in my opinion, is that it's the purity of the series is a little bit more present. Fire Emblem Three Houses, it's not exactly what I will call Fire Emblem, but it's still a phenomenal game. In everything else, I think it's superior to Awakening. That's just my personal opinion, though. Tokyo Xanadu, the most underrated JRPG ever made, fight me? Well, I'm not gonna fight you, I respect your opinion. I don't think it's one of the most underrated, but if it is to you, then cool. Yeah, the combat is amazing. Dream Team. What two game developers you would like to make one game from another developer? What two game developers you would like to make one game from another developer? Like, I don't know, like for example, if I bring Tri-Ace and Vanillaware to make Final Fantasy 17? Is that what you're asking? If so, then that's my answer. Maybe Atlus and Falcom make the next Fire Emblem? Kinda like that? Do you think League of Legends is trash? No, why would I think that? I'm not into games like that, but no, why would I think it's trash? Well, if that's your answer, Yum Yum. The legendary Zoltan. Is Star Ocean 2 Remake the game of the generation? Wow! Okay, so not the game of the year. Not the game of the decade. No, the game of an entire generation. I kinda knew you were gonna love it. I don't know yet. I mean, to start with, yes, it's a remake, it's a game, it's a new game done from scratch, but it's a remake. It's a game that was there in the 90s, and it belongs in that generation, in my opinion. Is it one of the best JRPGs of this generation, though? I don't... Fuck. I don't want to answer that because I want you guys to wait for my review. I know you're a big Star Ocean fan. I mean, Tri-Ace is like your favorite developer, right? But this remake was not developed by Tri-Ace. This is Gem Drops. But still, I'm just gonna say that they nailed it. That's all I'm gonna say. From turn-based, action, tactical, which one you play more in JRPGs? My favorite subgenre is tactical RPGs. Those are my favorites, so I always give those preference. But nowadays, I have no preference. Like, I don't care if it's turn-based or action or tactical. I'm gonna play it nonetheless, right? But I do have a preference for tactical RPGs. How much impact did Super Mario RPG have on your life? A big impact. When I played it, that was like my second RPG ever that I ever played. And when I played it, I fell in love with it, and I beat it multiple times. Within 1 or 2 years, I beat it like 10 times. I lost count on how many times I beat the original version. So yeah, I'd say it was pretty impactful. I don't think Chrono Cross would have made the huge impact it did on me had I not played Super Mario RPG years before. Is it really that great? Maybe I need to give it a try. I don't know, ask Sultan here. You guys are gonna have to wait for my review. I'm working my best to have it ready for next Friday, but I'm not gonna promise anything. With the new releases of Star Ocean, can we officially say that Star Ocean is not dead? Obviously. I mean, Star Ocean 6 came out last year. We got the remake this year. The remaster of the first game like 2-3 years ago. Yeah, it's never been dead. It just took... There was a lot of issues between Tri-Ace and Square Enix in the past. You know, okay, Star Ocean 5 came out. It was a disaster, a critical failure, commercial failure. And Square Enix blamed Tri-Ace. And Tri-Ace was like, well, you pushed me, man. I mean, you rushed me. And that's, you know, this is the game we got. You shouldn't have rushed me, right? And they fought. There was a controversy in there, some drama. And then Tri-Ace told Square Enix to go fuck themselves. And apparently they reached out to each other back a few years ago. And maybe, I don't know, made peace. Shook hands again. And they said, okay, make Star Ocean 6. And I'm gonna let you, Tri-Ace, do Star Ocean 6 however you want. And the result was that amazing fucking game from last year, which blew me away. You know, I loved it, right? So, no, Star Ocean was never dead to begin with, but it kind of came close to dying because of that fight, because of that drama, right? So, obviously, no, it's not dead, kids, don't worry. I'm pretty sure we'll get Star Ocean 6 someday, maybe in a few years. Can you give me the best option? I want to play Valkyrie Profile 1, so which one? PS1, PSP, or an Android version? I suggest the PS5, the PS4 or PS5 digital release. That's the best version to play of that game. It looks beautiful, no issues, no technical issues. I think it's the best version to play. But if you can't get your hands on either of those versions, I'd say go for the PSP version. 3 non-RPGs you play the most. Yours are Street Fighter 2, Contra, and Mega Man. I think I will have to go with Plants vs. Zombies on the Nintendo DS, believe it or not. Then Super Mario World. Probably I've beaten that game 10,000 times on the Super Nintendo. And I guess my third will be probably... Man... I guess Worms on the PSP, Worms Open Warfare. Armageddon on PC is a close second, but yeah, Worms Open Warfare. Those are my 3 most played non-RPG games of all time. Hell, I'm still playing Plants vs. Zombies. I started a new playthrough for the 10th time like a few months ago, and I beat it, and I can't stop playing the minigames, you know. I play a minigame like every now and 1 or 2 days. Tri-Ace asked for $45 million for Star Ocean 5. I didn't know that. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of fucking money, man. Even with $15 million, they should have released a much better game than that. How big is your backlog? Infinite. It's never gonna end. Even if I make it to 90 years old or 100 years old, it's still gonna be there. It's never gonna end. It's gotten to a point where I don't care about it anymore. You know, I don't let it worry me or stress me out. I just, you know, play games whenever I want, and that's it. Hiroshi Yamauchi, ex-CEO of Nintendo, made the following statement. People who play RPGs are depressed gamers who like to sit alone in their dark rooms and play slow games. I really doubt he said that. I don't think he said that. Show me proof that he said that. I really seriously doubt he said that. Should I buy Super Mario RPG first day? I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not getting anything. If I say yes, I'm not gonna get paid for saying yes. So, I don't know. Up to you. I love the original version on the Super Nintendo, and it's a heavily recommended channel, video game in this channel. So, if that helps you make your decision. But this is a remake. This is a remake that they're doing from scratch. It's practically a new game. I don't know how different it's gonna be from the original. I've seen the trailers. I don't know anything more. I don't know any more than you do about this game. So, watch more trailers maybe to help you decide. Backlogs are good. Always something to go back to. Yeah, but backlogs aren't games you go back to. If you already beat one game, that means it's no longer in your backlog, right? Backlog are for games that you haven't finished. Like people nowadays, right? I really believe that people nowadays care way too much about modern games, about new games. Like they get obsessed. I don't understand this obsession for new games. I really don't. I see the appeal and I know they hype it, and I know YouTubers and forums, websites, magazines, even developers and trailers and whatnot hype you up. But I just don't understand what's the appeal of getting hyped on every single upcoming and new game. Because let's face it, you're not gonna play it, you're not gonna beat it. You're only gonna beat 1 or 2 out of 10 games that you're gonna buy. This consumerism is ridiculous nowadays, and it's affected channels like mine even. Like if I don't make a video about upcoming RPGs or new RPGs, you know, nobody is, I feel like people have started losing interest in old games. Even games from 3 years ago or 2 years ago, they don't give a shit, right? They only care, their attention is like dead set on upcoming and new games. They go crazy. And no matter what you do as a journalist or reviewer or content creator, you know, if you're not talking about that one game who just came out or that's just around the corner, people don't give a shit. It's sad that it's gotten this way, to this point, where people are so fucking obsessed with the next game. Why do you care so much? I mean, you're gonna play only for 2 hours and move on to the next one. There's too many fucking games nowadays. I think people, including some of you guys, you need to start being more selective and really start caring about the ones that you really feel like you care about. But it's like 10, 12, 50 games in there and you want them all. And you're not gonna play them all and you're not gonna beat them all. So why buy them? Why give attention to that? Really guys, seriously, I mean, this obsession with the next new game is ridiculous. Open your eyes. They're just trying to sell you video games galore. Don't be a compulsive buyer. Just stick to the games that you really, really deeply care about. You know, forget about the rest. I mean, yeah, this is Pokemon. It's the Pokemon mentality for video games. You gotta collect them all, gotta buy them all, right? Are you really that stupid? Really? Wow. You're paying $60, $70, $80 for every single one of these games, and they're gonna stay in your backlog forever. Because you know what? It's not like, oh, I'll get to it later. I know for a fact I'm gonna play at some point. Yeah, in 6 months, when the next 10 fucking new games get your attention and your money, what happened to the game you bought last year? To the bunch of games you bought last year? They're still there, and they're still gonna be there. That logic is illogic. It makes no sense. Seriously. And I wouldn't get this worked up if I didn't see that mentality affecting my channel overall. Like, what am I've complained about this before, so I'm not gonna go back to it, but it's like, what kind of content am I going to create now? It's Erick Landon RPG gonna be only about upcoming and new RPGs? Come on, guys. Start giving attention to the ones from 10, 20 years ago again. We need that magic back. Like making a video about Breath of Fire 3 and everybody cares. But right now, if I go back to, I don't know, what if I go back to the 10 Things You Didn't Know About series? I know there's a lot of fans of that series. But if I go right now and pick 10 things you didn't know about, I don't know, Vandal Hearts, nobody cares. But if I do 10 things you didn't know about Star Ocean, hey, I made that video. I made a video 3 years ago, 10 things you didn't know about Star Ocean 2. Now that it's trending, you guys should go and watch it, right? Because you only care about the new game. I mean, please stop being that kind of person. Open your eyes. You know what you should do with your money? Buy real estate. Save it. A medical care plan. Insurance. I don't know. Stop wasting it in 10,000 new RPGs that you're not gonna play. You're only gonna play like one of them. And by the time you're done with that game, 10 more new RPGs are out there. So yeah. You're asking consumers to not support anti-consumer practices and be aware of their power as a buyer? I don't know. I don't know what I'm asking. I'm just asking you to pay attention to JRPGs in general and stop obsessing over the new ones. It's okay to care about the new ones. I care about the new ones. Of course I do. But obsessing over them, that's not good. Streamers are part of the cause. Not just streamers, websites, reviewers, magazines, any kind of journalism is at fault here. Because they're all chasing the views, the revenue. Because they know for a fact that if they get on with the trend, they're gonna get more views, more subscribers, and that's what a lot of video game channels do nowadays. And so they create a trend. And I'm not really attacking that because I do the same. Right now Star Ocean 2 is trending, I stream the game, and I'm gonna make my review. But I'm not gonna make my review of every single new RPG. I don't really care about Persona 5 Tactica, Dragon Quest Monsters, you know, and I missed a lot of games. I missed Fate Samurai Remnant. I didn't play it, and I haven't talked about it, so you know. And do I get obsessed over that? No. I care about views, I care about revenue, I care about my channel, but I don't obsess over that. I don't chase every single fucking trend. And that's nowadays, that's YouTube nowadays. So anyway, Sultan asked something. What systems have you already played every JRPG? PlayStation 2? No, wait. I haven't finished every single JRPG of every single system, you know. There isn't a single video game system where I have finished every JRPG. No, and trust me, there's never gonna be. You know, in no way in hell am I ever gonna beat Time and Eternity or Tracia or in the Way of the Ninja, right? But played every single JRPG, I think. We're only gonna focus on JRPGs that came out of Japan and released in North America, right? Because there's a shit ton of Japan exclusives that I haven't played. A lot. PlayStation 1, every single one of them, even the ones that are not exactly JRPGs like Battle Hunter. You guys know that game? It's on PS1, exclusive to it. I think it may have been re-released digitally on the PlayStation Store, but I'm not sure. Battle Hunter is like it's not exactly a role-playing game. It's more like a party game, or like I don't know what kind of game it is, like a board game. It's good though, but playing by yourself, it gets boring after a while. It's one of those games you need to play with somebody else, multiplayer. But even that game, I play that game. So PS1 definitely, PS2 definitely. PS3, I think I'm missing one or two only. Yeah, PSP, definitely. PS Vita, I'm not sure. I think I have, but I'm not sure. There's gotta be one or two that I'm missing. I know that for a fact. PS4 so far? No, I don't think so. I'm still missing some. What about... so PS1, PS2, and PSP? All of them. Every single one of them. Even if I only played the game for like 20 minutes. Well, okay, not 20 minutes. I usually put like 1 hour or two at least. 1 or 2 hours. Even the bad ones. Believe it or not. Hey, I put like 6 hours into Blade Dancer. I don't know how I did that. Because it's a bad RPG. But yeah. PS1, PS2, and PSP, I've played every single one of them. Even the Inuyasha game on the PlayStation 2, I played it. And I was like, man, this is pretty mediocre. It's not bad, but it's not good either. Well, yeah, even that fucking game. And I think that's it, man. 3DS, no, I know for a fact I'm missing like 10,000 Pokemon games. Same with the Nintendo DS. Same with the Game Boy Advance. Wait, Super Nintendo? Super Nintendo is another system. I have played every single JRPG on the Super Nintendo that came out of Japan. Yes, I know that. Again, even the ones that are not really JRPGs, like Zelda, right? Nintendo 64? Well, yeah. I mean, there's only like 3 JRPGs in there. Yeah, I mean, there's Quest 64, I played it, didn't like it. Ogre Battle, fantastic game. Paper Mario, fantastic game. Mega Man Legends, wait. Yeah, I did play Mega Man Legends. I was gonna say that I played the PS1 version, but no, I remember when I was at my store, I got a 64 for sale, and I got the cartridge of Mega Man Legends, and I put it there to test it. So it counts, right? Goemon is one of those games, that I don't know if it's an RPG or not. Not sure. Give me 1 second. Yeah, I mean 64, Sultan. GameCube, what about the GameCube? No, I played the Pokemon games on GameCube. There's one Yu-Gi-Oh game that I didn't play, or did I? Was that a PS2? I don't know. GameCube, I'm not sure. Wii, I'm not sure either. NES? Maybe no, NES, no. There's a couple of them I haven't played. There's Magic of Sherazad, apparently. It's an action RPG, I haven't played it. So I'm just gonna, my answer is Super Nintendo, PS1, PS2, and PSP. Those 4 I know for a fact. I played every single JRPG that came out of Japan. Do you know Blasphemous? I think it's a Souls-like game, so I'm not interested. This song, this is from Spider-Man. Attack of the Sinister Six. Revenge of the Sinister Six on the NES. It's not a great game, but the soundtrack is untouchable. What's a cool JRPG I can get on the PS4 for cheap right now? I have done like 5 videos on cheap JRPGs you can buy right now. Check them out. Is Mega Man Legends an RPG? It's debatable. A lot of people don't seem to think so because it's missing some crucial... It's missing some elements that are always there in JRPGs, like a natural leveling system. The level progression in that game is different. It's more on the Zelda side of things, but it's there. And there's also town interaction. You go and talk to people. You move around Mega Man. And you go into stores and buy stuff, and there's a customization, and yeah. And they're much longer games than your average Mega Man game, right? Mega Man Legends 1 and 2 are very story-driven. Yeah, so I think of them as RPGs, but it's debatable. I mean, I couldn't really make a strong case right now saying, yes, they're role-playing games, shut the fuck up, period. No, it's debatable. It's like Zelda. Although Zelda is a little bit easier to discredit as role-playing games, at least the older ones. I don't know about Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. I haven't played them. They seem to have really, really strong RPG elements in there. Maybe they're action RPGs, I don't know. But I remember playing Ocarina of Time, A Link to the Past, Zelda 1 and 2, even 2, which has strong RPG elements, the fact that you visit towns often and shit. Doesn't feel like one to me, but I see the elements at least. It's hard to make a strong case up against Zelda 2. Because you do kind of grind. And yeah, it's weird. It's that one game in the series that's kind of like, I don't know, man. Which Fate anime series do you think will potentially make for a great JRPG? Fate Zero, Fate Stay Night, Apocrypha, or Go Babylonia? I haven't watched Babylonia. I watched the others. Zero is one of my favorite anime series of all time. This is loud. On Zero, I don't think so, because there's not much room for action and RPG elements in there, because it's more about the drama and the intrigue of it. Fate Stay Night, definitely. Stay Night and Apocrypha there's a lot of action, they're more action focused. There's tons of fighting and shit, so definitely they could work as JRPGs. I don't know how they would achieve that, but Apocrypha is pretty easy to make into an JRPG. Some of the servants invoke monsters and shit. Same with Fate Stay Night, so yeah, definitely they could work as JRPGs, no problem. Fate Zero, I don't think so. But Japan always finds a way. Is there future in you making videos about JRPG with Yuri? You mean like a top 10 JRPG with Yuri? I don't think so, but I've covered several JRPGs with Yuri stuff in the past. Cry Machina, Knights of Azure 1 and 2, Dead End Request 2. Yeah. Any experience with Ninja Gaiden? Just bad experience and bad, sad memories from my childhood. Yeah. Really wanted to love that game so bad, and it was just hard as fuck. Never beat it. Never beat it, man. It's a very, very frustrating game, but it's one of those that are really good, right? I mean, you're there trying like an idiot over and over, like Contra, over and over and over again, because it's so good. But it's so hard. And I think I played Sigma on the PlayStation 3, and I don't know why I never went back to it. I played Shinobi on the PS2, but that's a different game. Dragon Ball Z has at least 3 turn-based RPGs. None of them came out of Japan, with the exception of the one by Monolith Soft on the Nintendo DS, which is pretty decent, you know. But apart from that one, well, this Dragon Ball Fusions, it's turn-based, I think. I didn't play that much of it. But if it is, that's 2. I mean, obviously there's more in Japan. I remember playing a fan-translated version of one on the Super Nintendo. You know, it's okay. My problem with Dragon Ball Z is that they keep milking the same arcs over and over again. Again and again and again. They've been doing that since the NES era. The same game, the same story. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, which is an open-world action RPG. Same, there I go, fighting Raditz again. Goku is killed. Piccolo trains Gohan. Vegeta and Nappa come over. I mean, I've seen that story and I played that story so many times that... I mean, enough is enough, right? Damn neighbors. Do you prefer JRPGs with fantasy or science fiction elements? No preference, really. No preference. I don't have a preference. I don't really put the other one above the other. Put one above the other. Not really. I like both genres. I like steampunk. I don't really care about settings. Even modern settings, you know. Maybe modern settings are my least favorite, but I don't really care that much. Nintendo prices. Nintendo DS prices are insane. I know that. I just made my rarest JRPGs so far video, and I was checking out some Nintendo DS and 3DS games, and they were insane. But if you want to see insane, watch that video. That's insane. That's nothing. 100 euros. That's nothing, man. 100 pounds. Watch my top 10 rarest JRPGs so far, and then you'll see the definition of insane. Is Akira Toriyama one of your favorite manga artists? No, I don't really read manga. But as an artist, yeah, maybe, I wouldn't say top 5, but yeah, he's up there. Is there a JRPG you thinking of with just one title like The Legend of Dragoon? Is that game already perfect? Or I don't think The Legend of Dragoon is perfect, but it could use a sequel, yeah. What video game cuisine have you tried in real life? I have no idea. They always make up things in video games that are like make no sense. So I don't know. Maybe I already have, but I don't know. What's your take on Kingdom Hearts 3? I only played it for like half an hour, and I thought the battle system was alright. It felt better, improved, as opposed to the previous Kingdom Hearts games. And the story I didn't give a shit about. Didn't really pay attention. I just want to feel how the game plays, to see and feel it. But that's about it. That's my take. What JRPG needs a second chance? What kind of question is that? What do you mean second chance? Any Black Friday purchases this year? I was just talking about that at the beginning of the stream. There's a lot of games that I want. But of course I'm waiting for them to go down in price. Some of them I already own them digital, like Tales of Arise. But I still like, I will still like to own them. You know what I mean? Octopath Traveler 2. Fire Emblem Engage hasn't gone down in price considerably the entire year. It was on Amazon Prime Day, but that was only in the US. In Mexico, it retained its ridiculous $50 price. So I'm gonna wait. Maybe on Black Friday it'll be $30 and I'm gonna get it. I know for a fact some games are almost impossible already. I wanna own Dead End Request 2. Redemption Reapers only was released by PlayAsia and limited run games, so it's like $40 plus shipping. I mean, that's fucking ridiculous, no. But maybe I'll get an offer, right? Maybe it'll be on sale on Black Friday. Yeah, there's a lot of them. I want Tormented Souls. It's a survival horror game. I want Streets of Rage, and they are at a very affordable price nowadays, $25, $30. You know, but if I'm gonna spend $30 on video games, I'd rather get RPGs. So these games, I need them to be cheaper in order to convince me to buy them, right? $20 or less. Yeah, and there's more. I've been trying to hunt down some other rare games, but they're so rare, like Utawareru Mono Prelude to the Fallen. Like, I have the other two, just not that one. It's very expensive. It's only on PS4. Came out on the Vita, but digital. And the only physical version is the PS4 version. It's pretty fucking expensive. Yeah. And I also want other cheap ones, you know. I don't own Valkyria Chronicles Remastered on PS4, the original. I had it when I was living in Canada, but I had to let it go. And I thought it was gonna be cheap when I came back, but no, it's more expensive in Mexico. And I know that for a fact that's a $20 game. But I already own the original on the PS3 version, so yeah, I could go on, man, with that question. So, to answer, yeah, I'm really looking forward to Black Friday and the good weekend. Thank you, Inane Dreams. Do you like dark comedy movies? Nah, no, I don't know. I may have seen some, but not really. Not really a comedy movies fan. Any type of comedy. But I like it when some other movies put a little bit of black comedy into them, like David Lynch movies, for example. Have you ever tried VR games? Yes, and I couldn't get into them. I was at Oscar's house, and I played... the first time we played games that weren't exactly in first person. We played one, but I forget its name. That was many years ago, and I remember it was this game that... It's like a first-person shooter, and I got, motion sickness. And I also played later Resident Evil Village, yeah? And I almost puked, man. I can't play for VR games on the first person. I know that's the whole point, But I don't know, it makes me dizzy. Thank you, Yum Yum. VC is a masterpiece? You mean the Valkyria Chronicles? Yes, it is a masterpiece. This is important, sorry guys. Since you have not tried any cuisine in games in real life, maybe this one will help you for your lunch today. Can I be honest? I don't mean to brag, but this is the best fucking country in the world for food. I don't need to taste or to try any cuisine in the entire world. I have enough with Mexican food, man. I can go on forever with Mexican food. It's the best. It's the best. Though I do like Chinese food a lot. And Japanese food too. And who doesn't like hamburgers? And they are from Germany, I think. Not exactly from the US. Should I upgrade for PS5 from PS4? I don't know how much the PS5 goes for nowadays. I don't think it's that expensive yet. Mine, I got it for... well, the point is that it's still expensive. I'd say wait till next year. Don't upgrade now. Stick to the PS4. I would recommend that. Have you ever tried speedrunning games, or are you interested in speedrunning games? No, I'm not interested, and the only one I've ever tried was Chrono Cross. And it was pretty hard to avoid the monsters. Maybe I should speedrun the remaster. You can turn the encounters off, and that could work, you know? I haven't thought about that, but I'm not interested in speedrunning. You're not wrong about Mexican food. Exactly. Oh, fuck. A voice message? Really? I'm live, asshole! I will only get the PS5 if my PS4 breaks. There's really no need to get a PS5 right now. It needs to be... Mexican food is the best. But Chinese is a close second. Japanese number 3. Italian number 3. Japanese number 4 for me. Yeah. We need a 5th cuisine to make it a top 5. Top 5. Well, I've barely tried Indian food or Arab food. British cuisine, that's like the worst. That's top 5 worst. No offense, it's true, man. When I was living there, oh my god, the food in there. Well, I guess for someone who isn't used to getting really good cuisine, really good food, you know, it's okay, British food, right? But I'm a Mexican. I have the best fucking food in the world. And I go there and try British food. No, man. Thai food? Thai food is pretty similar to Indian and Japanese, so I don't know much about it. As a Chinese person myself, I'm gonna say Chinese food is the best. Well, it's a close second. Yeah, Chinese food is really good. Really good. I'm a big fan. But I think I'm sticking to my own food. Nepalese cuisine? You live in Nepal? Or why do you know that? Indian plus Chinese? Well, maybe. It's hard. We need a 5th one, goddammit. Well, it can be Thai food. They're pretty similar to Chinese and Japanese. We need something like completely different. Well, how about junk food from the US? German food. The sausages and their hamburgers. I think hamburgers come from there. I don't know, but... yeah. German food? Can we stick to that? Have you tried any Filipino food? I don't think so. Greek? Oof. Greek food. Oof. That's it might be. Yeah. That's my top 5. What's your favorite Mexican dish? Ooh, you can't do that to me, man. No way. No way can I answer that. There's just no way. There's just so much that I don't know. I'm sorry, guys. This is ridiculous. Damn! I'm live. You're still going on about food? Anyway, have you tried to create your own RPG using RPG Maker? Not this RPG Maker on the PS5, no. But I did try it once. I did try on the PlayStation 1, and I lost my mind. I was like, this is fucking algebra to me, man. I can't do it, man. I don't have the patience to create my own RPGs. I can write stories. I can do music. That's as far as I go. Programming, 3D modeling, no. Top JRPG food is ramen. That's more like top anime. Ramen is like the biggest cliche in anime series. There's always gotta be that one character who passionately loves ramen, right? That one guy. And in some JRPGs too. I mean, isn't Ryuji from Persona 3 all about ramen and shit? And I don't think I've ever tried ramen in my life. And there are Japanese food stores here, restaurants that sell it to you. I don't think I've ever had ramen in my life. But it's not the same. There was this store in Canada, and I used to buy these boxes, this bulgogi box, and the people preparing the food were Japanese, and the ingredients were all Japanese. So it was kind of expensive, right, because of that. Same with there was a Chinese store, restaurant in Canada, and the people preparing the food were Chinese, and you could tell the food was Chinese. Because there was other stores, like in the mall, for example, and I bought Chinese food in there, and it's the same as in Mexico, the same crap, with Mexican ingredients, right? But the Chinese food that I tried in Canada, and Japanese one, that was true real Japanese and Chinese food, and some of the best dishes I've eaten in my life. So I miss that. But the Japanese restaurants here, I'm pretty sure their ingredients aren't Japanese. So it's like when you guys what's the name of this fucking store? Taco Bell in Mexico? Those are not real tacos. That's what the fuck is that, man? That's not real tacos. You want to eat real tacos? Find a real Mexican restaurant in your country or come to Mexico. I want to try yakisoba pan too, because fucking 13 Sentinels, man. There's this guy who keeps buying them over and over again, right? And he made them sound delicious. So I want to try yakisoba pan too. Because of that asshole. Original Filipino food is kare. It's a peanut-infused stew with oxtail meat. Wow. I'd love to try that out. There's a story when I was little. We went to a camping trip with my uncles and shit, family, and I don't know if my uncle fooled me, but he got this package. He said it was bear meat. And I didn't believe him, right? Because, I mean, bears, killing bears and eating them is illegal here, except for a few areas, I think, in Mexico. So I didn't believe him. But the wrapping, it said that it was actual bear food, bear meat. And I tried it, and it was pretty good. But it desperately needed salt. Badly. So with salt, it was pretty good. I remember that. But I don't know if it's true. I don't know. I mean, that label seemed fishy. So I don't know if I really tried for real bear meat. But I still have that memory. I'll never forget that. I've beaten deer. Well, I guess deer isn't rare, right? I mean, especially not in the US. But deer meat is pretty rare here in Mexico. It's almost impossible. And I know some other animals, but I don't know their name in English. Like the big bird. What's the name of the big bird? Alligator meat? I've never tried that. I know that's a thing in Asia, right? But I don't know. You gotta salt your bear? Absolutely. What's the name of the big fucking bird with the long neck in English? Come on, guys, what's the fucking thing? It can't fly. It's so big it can't fly. But I've tried that meat here in Mexico. It's okay, it's good. But it's not... Emu? No, ostrich. Thanks, ostrich. Yeah. And it's not expensive here in Mexico for some reason, but it's okay. It's not like wow, not really. And then there's sheep meat. It stinks, but it's good. I like it. I like the taste. It's okay, but it doesn't. I mean, it's not wow. And a variety of fish, right? I've tried in my life a variety. Not really. Lamb, I'm sorry, I said sheep. Sorry, yeah, lamb. I was like, man, we used to saying things, food, not names in Spanish. So lamb, I tried lamb. It's not rare at all, I know that. It is kind of rare in Mexico. Yeah, but it stinks, but it's not. It's good, but it's not like delicious. No, it isn't, right? I tried octopus. It's bad. I hate octopus, any kind. It's bad. I don't like it one bit. The taste and how it feels in your tongue. Ugh. No. And then there's crab is okay. I've gotten crab. I remember this one big fucking crab. I had the last time I went to the beach, I was like 15. Haven't gone back to the beach ever since. And I ate some kind of crab that was freaking delicious. But it's also how you prepare, you know. There's gotta be some really delicious lamb out there, or ostrich, or how it's prepared. That's what matters, right? How it's cooked. It's what matters. Beef liver. Oh, I think I've only tried liver once and I didn't like it. I don't know. Lomi is a Spanish cuisine, right? Lomi? Lomi? No. Maybe lomo. With an O at the end. Lomo. But that's just the part of the animal and doesn't make any sense. It's not a Mexican cuisine, I can tell you that. Maybe lomi is a Spanish cuisine, like from Spain or something. Not here, I don't think so. I don't know what lomi is. Maybe it's from Spain, but that doesn't exist here in Mexico. Lomi? Never heard of it. Ostrich egg? I've never eaten that in my life. Shrimp, of course. You had a Mexican restaurant. Oh, okay, it went under. That's too bad. That sucks. That sucks. Oh, tongue tacos. Tongue, I can't eat that. I'm interested in alligator meat. I don't know, it sounds weird. Eating an alligator. Are Doritos as good as Mexican nachos? No, obviously not. It's good though. I ate tacos yesterday, al pastor. There was an offer on Uber Eats. I got a promo code, and I was like, sure, I mean, why not? I got them from cheap. Tacos al pastor. I ate that just yesterday. And it's great, it's fucking delicious, right? Is there a game anime adaptation you enjoy like Sword Art Online or One Piece Odyssey? I played One Piece Odyssey and I liked it. It's a turn-based RPG on PS4 and I only played the demo and it was pretty good. I liked it. I might get it if it's cheap, but I'm not really interested in the anime series themselves. Not really a fan. I'm a big Dot Hack fan. I watched all of the anime series. Liminality, Roots, Sign, I watched them all. And the games are still better. Liminality was pretty damn good. It's only like 4 episodes. It was pretty good. Enough about food conversation, guys. Last questions. I gotta go in a bit. Oh, and thank you for the donations, guys. And before everybody leaves, link in the description to my Patreon page. You will be greatly supporting me if you joined. There's a link to my Twitch channel. Please follow. I am streaming almost every day in there on Twitch, like 4 or 5 times a week. Random games, but I've been doing some full playthroughs. I just finished my first one. And then there's my link to my books. If you're interested in my books, I'm an author. All of my books in English. You can find the description to them you can find the link to them in the description. And there's they are physical printed versions, that's right. So you can own them and touch them and caress them and get them in your head and obsess with them. And there's also digital versions, ebook versions of them. All of those links are in the description right now. Link to everything that I just said in the description. Have you ever played an RPG that punishes the player for grinding? Yes. The Last Remnant, Final Fantasy VIII. Xenogears doesn't really punish you. It's like it doesn't give a shit, but it's not really helpful either to grind in that game. I mean, you do want to grind to learn new moves with your characters, but it's not really necessary, and it doesn't really punish you. But The Last Remnant in Final Fantasy VIII, yeah, that's like you're gonna grind, you're fucked. Why? Anyway, Eiyuden Chronicles should have a mariachi character. There exists a mariachi character in JRPGs, and that is Shadow Hearts from the New World. Ricardo, that's the name of the character. And he was in my final party not because he was Mexican, I don't give a shit about mariachi. I don't like mariachi one bit. But he was really useful in battle. He was pretty badass. So yeah. I don't think Eiyuden Chronicles need it because it's gonna feel like forced inclusion. Like, oh, it's gonna have the Mexican character and it's gonna have the... But then again, on the other hand, Suikoden has always been like that. You know, they put characters that really resemble different cultures from different countries, and that's what makes Suikoden so memorable. So yeah, maybe Eiyuden Chronicles should have something like that. Maybe. I'm not sure. As long as it isn't politicized. Pretty interesting book. Wreck, The Transparency of Evil by John Baudrillard. Never read it. Have you played Eiyuden Chronicle Rising? No, I haven't, Kiss. Maybe I will once it goes down in price. I've seen it for $40 already. Maybe Black Friday. That'll be my chance. Maybe. And that is the last question that I'll answer. Thanks a bunch for asking, guys. Thanks a bunch for hanging out. It means a lot to me. Thanks for the donations. Link to everything in my description. Link to everything, my books, my Patreon, Twitch, description. Check it out. And thanks for watching, everybody. I will see you next Sunday. Have a great weekend, everybody. Take care.